Hi, everybody. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I don't have dance moves, but I'm trying. There'll be a story about this song in a little bit. If you don't know, the name of the song actually is Down with the King by Run DMC. I always ask the people that we bring on, that we're blessed to bring on, what they want, And in this case, we are live with Trooper Corey King from the great state of Kentucky. Trooper King, good morning. Well, good afternoon to you, sir. How are you?
Hey, Larry. It's a true honor and privilege to be here. Thanks for having me on your show.
Well, I'm just going to play it again. I like it. I just like it too much. It's just catchy. It's got a great hook. All right, there you go. All right. So anyway, tell us, to start with here, Corey, tell us, if you would, about the reason for Run DMC and Down with the King. I love it because your Twitter handle, for those of all you don't know this, okay, his Twitter handle is King of KSP. Now that's cool already, but then he goes and asks for Run DMC, which is old school 90s hip hop, and he goes and I'm going, dude, this guy's cool. So tell us more about that.
Yeah. So I'm a product of the late 70s. So obviously 90s music is one of those things where, I was going into high school in 92. And so, that kind of stuff just still resonates with me very well. As for the Twitter account, which, by the way, that handle has come into question sometimes, but always I get a great response to that because, a lot of media outlets are like, man, you got the coolest handle. We love that. And how it started was, listen, since I'm in my 40s and I have to kind of, social media really isn't our thing, but we're coming along, right? So I'm a slow learner. And so I've started to get into this Twitter thing. And so when I was looking through handles, Trooper Corey King, all those, and also KSP King, by the way, was taken. So I wanted something that kind of stood out, and I did King of KSP, which was there, and bam, it stuck. And yes, a lot of people do like it, so I thought, man, Run DMC, what better way in a great bump music into our interview than a little bit of Run, Down with the King. I think it's just great and it's fitting.
That's awesome, man. I tell you, when I heard it, it was cool. And next week we've got Fred Zumbo from Arizona Public Defender's Office. And he's so awesome, dude. Guy has got to be, he's got 30 years experience in Arizona. And the guy asked for Pantera. I'm not kidding you. He wants Pantera. And I'm like,
yes, I know Pantera.
I'm like,
Pantera.
You really? I'm like, dude wants Pantera. That is so flipping awesome, man. Wow.
I was a little bit devastated. I think doing a singer shot on stage, performing what he does best, basically, and I remember that time. That was a little bit devastating.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And he said it was their stuff to get in the car and roll, and it's like, well, yeah, I bet it would be. It's hard not to be, really. Trooper King, you hold a real big distinction. I want to tell you this real quick. David Moreno is a very, very dear person in my heart, and he, in live PD history, was the very first officer that was on the show when it was basically a pilot before it became as big as it's become. You, sir, are the very first person that is a non-live PD officer on our show here in front of Live PD Nation, and we are honored to have you. You hold that distinction from now on, brother, okay?
Well, I can tell you what, I am truly humbled. I really am. I just mean that, Larry.
Oh, bless your heart, man. Well, I got to tell you, first of all, happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody. Also, happy Kentucky Derby Day to all those folks who love horse racing and the folks in Kentucky. Today, I really had to think about the wardrobe, so we wore the green for the turf for Kentucky for that, and then we wore the blue for the Bluegrass State. We're trying to represent the Bluegrass State of Kentucky today. How long have you been a Kentucky State Trooper, Corey?
Larry, I've been on for 18 years. I was probably one of the youngest ones out of my class. I applied at 21, and I was either 21 or 22 when I was actually in the cadet class. I got 18 years on, and I'm kind of seeing a lot of get in the tunnel, and retirement's down the road for me. So 18 solid years, and I have truly enjoyed every day of it.
Holy cow. So you started out very, very early. Had you always wanted to be a police officer, Corey, or what?
I did. I'm from a little town in West Kentucky. It's called Fancy Farm. Mm-hmm. And I'm serious. It's a true town. a little map dot, and just for a side, just for the record here, it actually holds in the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest picnic in the world. So Fancy Farm, Kentucky is such a place. So I'm from this little town called Fancy Farm, and obviously Fancy Farm, we're a very agricultural, rural community, and that was really my two things in life, my passions. I did farm. Agricultural was one of my things, but yet there was always this side of me, even from a very early age, even as a kid, I always wanted to get into law enforcement. And in this little town, this community, back in the 80s and 90s, we didn't have a big representation of sheriff's departments. We sure didn't have a city police or constables or anything. So the state police was literally the only entity that would if you needed a true large-scale law enforcement agency, it was Kentucky State Police.
And that was it.
So I knew, if I went to agricultural as a career path, I knew I never would be truly fulfilled. So that's where I went, because Kentucky State Police has this rich and prideful tradition that I, too, knew I needed to be a part of. So that's why I chose KSP as my path, and I'm glad I did.
Okay, so you're one of the few then that came in out of school versus out of the military then, right? You actually made your career by working hard. You're actually what in the military world is called a Mustang. You're a guy that started out, worked hard to get where he's at and stuck with it.
That's right. I farmed to pay my way through college. I went to Murray State University.
So you did go to college, okay.
Actually, I was still in college. Yes, I was still in college, but I did work for Hudson Agriculture and did all that to pay for my college. And then I actually was hired as I graduated my bachelor's degree.
Fantastic. Trooper King, congratulations on that. We're on the phone with Trooper Corey King from the Kentucky State Police. We are honored to have him. He is a full ball of fire, folks. I mean, for those of y'all that love Danny Brown and the energy he brings, this is his brother that he doesn't know from another mother. I'm telling you right now, he is just fun. So you're going to love this guy. He's got a great laugh. He's got a great personality, and we are honored to have him here. Trooper King, Kentucky's a really large state, very, very large. Have you covered all of it, or just do you pretty much stay in a certain area?
No, it's real simple. We have 120 counties that comprise in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We're broke down into posts. That's how we're broke down. And we have 16 posts, and I'm actually at post 16. So our post covers 6 counties, but often these posts around us will cover anywhere between 4 to 12 counties or so. So depending on where you're at, you can have a very large-scale post, or you can have a smaller post, anywhere between 4 to 6 like ours. So I'm post 16. I'm in the western part of our state. That's how we cover that. Okay,
I see. Very good. All right. And then are you seeing any type of crimes increasing in your area that weren't increasing, say, maybe 5, 10 years ago, maybe something on the rise?
Yeah, I tell you, Larry, drugs and it's not just a Kentucky thing. We see this everywhere. But drugs is our number one issue that we see. And I have seen it go from, in Western Kentucky, we're a unique state in with regards to our trafficking as well as our abuse of drugs. The western part of the state is methamphetamine. It's gone from regular meth to crystalline methamphetamine. So now we're seeing less meth labs, but what we are picking up on is the import of crystal meth, which essentially is the same ingredients. It just varies in form, and it's a more potent or pure form of methamphetamine. So crystal meth in the western part where I'm at is dominant. But however you get into the central, northern, and east parts of our state, it is your opioid-based drugs, anywhere from pills to what we see the rise in heroin. And actually, Larry, I would say that we're somewhere around 1,400 overdose deaths a year, which is surprisingly almost double what our vehicle collisions claim. And for decades, vehicle wrecks has always been our number one accidental death rate. But now we're seeing almost double that amount due to overdose deaths with heroin. And I don't know if you guys are seeing it on the West Coast or not, but all these drugs now are being laced with fentanyl or carfentanyl.
Yeah.
And the user doesn't know it. And so that's where we see the spike. So, of course, with the drug exchange also comes with other type crimes that go along with it, just like domestic violences as well as thefts, general thefts, burglaries, robberies, things of that nature.
Well, yeah, because they'd have to pay for all of that, and it's not cheap. So, we've done a lot here on our end. It's not just our site, but also a lot of other sites really speaking out against the drug problem to make sure that, as Tom Morris Jr. puts it on the show, that you're not riding dirty, because doing that is something that you just got to be so careful of, because, in all honesty, if you're not careful with it, and it could be something as simple as, folks, I don't know if you know this, but this is kind of how it works. Now, this is many states. I can't speak for your state, Trooper King, but I can speak for at least one, where even if you're in a bar, you've got a drink, and someone puts a couple of pills in your drink, okay? That's a very difficult offense if you're caught in a DUI, because you should have been in control of your drink. And it's not like you just get off on the DUI because you just didn't know. I mean, you're supposed to be in charge of what you're drinking. So you folks that go to bars and do that, you got, be careful, because you know what? When it comes down to it, when you get behind the wheel, you are responsible for that.
You are, and you're responsible for everyone else on the roadway. And I can tell you, even if a doctor prescribes you a medication, if it impairs your ability, you can be arrested and charged with DUI Kentucky, even though you're legally prescribed something. Mm-hmm. The issue is can you operate that machinery with being able to perform your normal everyday tasks? You got to keep in mind that everyone that's occupying our roadways is reliant that they will be entrusted somewhat that they will be returned back safely to their home. So everyone is entrusted with that, and that's what our troopers are doing, is looking for those who simply abuse that, whether it be through DUI or not. So we do a very good job at hosting road checks and ensure the safety of everyone that passes through our state.
Well, thank you for your service. Again, we're talking with Trooper Corey King of the state of Kentucky, the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Be careful, Commonwealth of Kentucky. There's only a handful of commonwealths in the United States, Kentucky being one of them. Virginia's one of, you're close to Virginia as well. So,
it is.
It's a really neat thing. Now tell us a little bit. One of the things I think that's important for the folks in Live PD Nation, by the way, hi everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a lot of people here right now, and we're grateful that we're there, that you're all there, because this is a guy that's not on the show. He's actually the first one not on the show to be interviewed here on the show. So we are very happy to have him. And there's going to be interest in this, Trooper King. Could you tell us a little bit about your department, the troopers, canines, what kind of annual training you all have to keep up with? Give us kind of an insight about what's it like to be in your office doing your job.
Absolutely. Our agency is responsible for statewide law enforcement. Okay. Our tagline, if you will, is a thin gray line, which represents our unique identity as being the thin line between law and lawlessness. That's who we are. We're comprised of both sworn and civilian personnel, totaling around 1,900 employees in the Commonwealth. 1,100 of those are sworn officers. Now, don't be mistaken, that's not road troopers. That is everyone from the cadet in training right now up to our commissioner, as well as our commercial vehicle enforcement officers, arson investigators, hazardous device investigators, legislative security specialists, facility security officers, and about 20 of our troopers are assigned to our canine division. As in for training, all sworn officers receive about 40 or plus hours each year of professional peace officer standards training, in addition to what other specialties they may have. So, for example, our canine guys, they will have to do 40 plus hours of the POPS standard, but also they train very regularly on how to be a canine handler and all the other things that come along with that. They do train all the time, but I will say that our handlers do just that. They're specific in that job, and their job is to handle that canine and do the function that way. So they don't go out here and answer calls of domestics or anything like that. So that's what I'm proud of about this agency, is that we have so many unique divisions you can branch off into, and that's where you focus on.
Okay, so let's say, for example, you're in Kentucky and you want to work for the troopers department, and let's say after a while you've done your share of riding in the car, doing your thing. What about the issue of, let's say you want to be a canine? Okay, if that's the case, can you just transfer over to the canine department?
Well, here's what we do. Okay, so you come out of the academy. And everyone needs to, let's just face it, the patrol division, the folks that are answering the calls of service, that is the backbone to any agency. So that's where you get your fundamental ideas, and training is right there when you come out and you pair it up with your field training officer, and then you work the road. That's how you do it. Now, once you do that after so many years, you have the ability to either promote or truncate into different specialized training. So you put in for it saying, I would like to be the canine for this post area, the handler for that area. So you put in for that detail, and then at that point they choose whether it be through an interview or something of that nature. But we have so many other different things. For example, my job is a public affairs officer, so I'm the only one in the PAO is what we call them, in my region. So that is something I wanted to do. So I went from being the road trooper, who has also served as a field training officer and collision reconstructionist. Then I went to the public affairs division, and that's what I do.
Okay.
I don't answer calls of service anymore like I used to, but that is something that our guys have that ability to do if they ever get wore out of the road, which does happen.
Sure.
You have that ability to go into different segments, and that's what I like about that. That's what large-scale agencies really should be about, and I think most are. That's what I like about KSP.
Good. So you have the opportunity to either laterally move or move into different areas.
Absolutely.
So you can just continue on in your work, and also, pardon me, excuse me, gives you an opportunity then as well to kind of have some new motivation for something new to do, right?
So, yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's good.
We do see a lot of guys take advantage of that, and there's been several that's mastered certain types of areas, and once they retire, they can carry on to different careers utilizing what they just were either certified in doing or specialized in doing, all because of our agency.
Okay, awesome. Well, in terms of motivation, if you could let me know here, what motivates you? Now, you've been there a long time, like many of the folks that we've been blessed to interview here. What keeps motivating you to get up in the morning, put on that uniform, go out the door, and risk your life?
My whole life, I've been dedicated to the public service area. I've always respected that, always wanted that. So really for me, it was always wanting to help someone who simply couldn't help themselves. Okay. Somebody who couldn't defend themselves from violence or other harm. So for me, it's always been that. But seeing the good of what we do on a regular basis that inspired me. And the appreciation that the public gives us. Listen, Kentucky's a very, very blessed state. We really are. And we have great people here. And those folks who have never been here, you would be shocked. There's so many people that move here. I met a guy the other day from your state, and he came here for a job. I was giving a program to a company about drug abuse. Okay. And he was from there, and he was telling me about, I said, I'd love to go there to visit. And he said, yeah, you should. You really should. But he said him and his wife moved here. And he says, I just cannot believe the hostility that Kentucky has.
Oh, yeah.
Hospitable.
Oh, yeah. And
it really is. And so we're really blessed. And I think just giving back to my community has always been that drive for me, and it still is today.
I can say we're on the phone here with Trooper Corey King from the Kentucky State Police. We'd like to formally welcome the Kentucky State Police who are watching the video. Thank you, all of you, for all the incredible work that you guys do in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky. We're all the way on the left coast, okay? So we're a ways away from y'all, but we do appreciate that you guys strap on a belt, put on a badge, get that uniform on, and you risk your life to help other people. And I like what you just answered, Trooper King, that you like to defend a person that can't defend themselves. God bless you for that, man. A lot of people, I think, don't realize law enforcement does that they're out there to help make sure the little guy's not getting hurt. So, wow. Fantastic. Now, do you all have a mission statement there in your department?
Yeah, we do. Our mission statement is to promote public safety by deterring crime, enhancing highway safety, and protecting property and people's rights. Simply put, our fundamental duty is to serve mankind. We expect honor, courage, and commitment, and adhere to a strict code of conduct and ethics to fulfill these duties. Wow.
Say that again, would you? Because I think people need to hear that exact thing you just said right there. Because, see, this is what we don't see a lot going on here. And this means nothing against live PD officers. Nothing. You guys are just as brave.
Right.
You're just as important. You're just as everything as this guy. But I love this mission statement. It's so special. Would you please say it again for us?
It is. Our academy, we're instilled with this. We're drilled with this right here. And I tell you, it carries over into you. And after 18 years, that is something I know. And every trooper goes through this and has to learn not only a trooper's creed, but our mission statement. And it is simple. Our mission statement is to promote public safety by deterring crime, enhancing highway safety, and protecting property and people's rights. And if you want to simply put it this way, our fundamental duty is to serve mankind. We expect honor, courage, and commitment, and adhere to a strict code of conduct and ethics to fulfill these duties.
I want the silence there to sink in, folks. Okay? I wanted not too much silence because I didn't want Trooper King to think that I had left him by the side wherever he's at. You know, I didn't want to think I was all of a sudden here with crickets. I wanted you to let that sink in a moment. That's what they do. Okay? This is what we don't hear from some of the folks that are on live PD. Not because we don't, and to be honest, because I haven't asked that question yet. But it doesn't mean that they all don't do the same thing. It just means you're learning something about another department that you don't ever see, that they, number one, exist, and number two, they're just as important. And thank you, all of you, every one of you, for saying, yeah, you know what, I would like to know more about different departments outside of the show, because they're as important too. So because of that response, here's Trooper King. Because of what you said, here he is, and there that answer, probably one of the best responses we've ever heard. Very cool. Trooper,
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. For those out there watching and listening to the interview, can you give any advice, Trooper King, if maybe they might be looking to become a Kentucky State Trooper or wanting a career in law enforcement? What kind of advice would you give them?
You know, we're excited for launching our new website, KentuckyStatePolice.org. You'll go in there. We have a whole new face and a whole new way to navigate through our website. Fortunately enough, for those folks who are out of state or even in state, if you're looking for a career in law enforcement, Kentucky State Police is where to go. It really is. We get a lot of people from other states that come to this agency, and we're very proud of them. We don't just keep the people in our state and hire only people in our state. We're looking for cream of the crop, and that means folks in your area, all the West Coast, East Coast, wherever, we want the best of the best. If you go on our website, you can click on careers, and there'll be a drop-down tab, and then you'll see law enforcement career opportunities. Click on that. All you got to do is click apply. But here's what we really look for. We're looking for good, honest people with good work ethics, meaning people who has genuine character and treats people, all people, with respect that they are entitled to. But also, can you work? We want that work drive. Looking for those that have that energy and the drive and the zest in making a positive impact in their communities. That's what we're looking for.
Excellent. Well, that's you couldn't have said that one better, folks. Okay, so there you go. Kentucky is definitely got opportunities for you. I just had a question from a lady. Her name is Tammy Cruz 33. She's a career police dispatcher. She's worked for a county in the state of Illinois. She says, "Can I dispatch there?" See, that's the kind you're doing that kind of job right now, man. People are saying, "Well, heck, I'll move to Kentucky right now." So she's talking about dispatching there, you know.
I can tell you, first off, I appreciate what you do. I can tell you, I'm not sure I could ever be a telecommunicator. I don't know if I can multitask quite as good as those folks. So yes, we need talented people just like her to come right here. Absolutely. We would love to have her, and we're hiring every day for telecommunicators. So look on our website, go to and I know that the personnel cabinet is changing some things with their site as well, but I can tell you, if you can't find what you need, give us a call. We'll gladly help you.
That's fantastic. Now, we talked a little bit about this. We're both of us, I think, are pretty honest guys. So, we talked about this a little bit before the interview about any law enforcement careers. Any law enforcement stories you might have, and the question basically, can you share with us a few of yours that were either especially tense or gratifying while on the job? And here's your chance to tell me what you told me before the phone call, because it was funnier than heck.
Well, does it include embarrassing too?
There you go.
Larry, will you let me do embarrassing? Will you let me do something? I'll tell you a story that to me has been with me from almost day one. And it wasn't funny at the time, but I can tell you what, I laughed just because of how it happened. If you got a minute, I'd love to tell a story.
You've got all the time you want. Go ahead, please.
All right. So years ago, I started in the year 2000. It was probably around 2001 or so. I worked a very small rural county. The county is about 9,000 in population. So very small, and at that time, again, a lot of your sheriff departments were very small as well, and they may not have ever had a deputy on shift. So I was the only trooper that worked this county, and primarily with our agencies, you're autonomous. You're to yourself. You're independent. You don't have backup readily available. Sometimes it may be 35 minutes to an hour to get help to you sometimes. So we got a 911 hang-up call from a house, a solo house on a very small road. And actually, I remember the name of this road. It's called Mystery House Lane.
Oh,
and this only house there, it must have been the mystery house because there's nothing else out there. and which is not uncommon to have these 911, these bogus 911 hang-ups, especially when the weather turned wet. You had these best quick services. There's many times, Larry, we'd get 911 hang-up calls to an area that there's no house there.
Wow.
And so that wasn't too uncommon. So anyway, I get this 911 hang-up call, and I go out there, and as good tactics, especially when everything's dark, you don't pull up the driveway. Some of the tactics is you before you can get to the house, you stop and you hump it on foot. So I was going on foot to this dark house, and as I was going, there was a barbed wire fence that wasn't fully standing up. It was actually bent over, so obviously it wasn't in good condition. But it was leaned over some, but not fully on the ground.
Okay.
Now, I didn't have a light on because I didn't want nobody to see me.
Okay.
So as I was going, I never saw this fence. And it tricked me, and I fell right into it. And so here I am. You would have thought that an anaconda got a hold of me. Because I jumped up so fast from this barbed wire fence. And when I did that, it ripped my pants off of me.
No way. No way.
No. I'm not talking like just carriage. I'm telling plumb rip it off me.
Oh.
And I knew just by the breeze that they're gone. And so I'm like, oh my Lord.
Oh.
And so luckily nobody was at this house. Nobody's there. So I just run back to my car, and I get on the phone and I call my wife. I said, honey, listen to me now. Get in my closet and you look for my summer pants. You get one of them and just drive south. Just drive south. As soon as you hit the county line, you call me. She said, okay. She gets in there. It wasn't, soon, Larry, as I hung up the phone, we get a domestic in progress.
No.
We get domestic. So, yeah, I'm like, oh, my Lord.
Oh, no.
No, because I'm it. And this is it across the county in a town that has a rural, it's all rural, and of course this area had a subdivision, and all the people who were calling were neighbors who were standing outside the house listening to it inside the house. Okay?
Oh,
so
no.
I knew there was people.
Oh, no.
People standing outside, I'm like, oh, no. So I'm in the car before I'm going with the stapler, trying to staple my pants back together.
Oh.
No joke. I'm sitting there stapling my trousers back together, trying to do the best I can, but I had to go because you don't know what's going to happen. So I'm bum rushing. My wife never makes it to the county line as fast as I can get to this town. And I pull down the street. Here I am with no pants, essentially, and I'm wearing almost like neon teal green undershorts.
Oh.
So it couldn't, and with smiley faces on it. So it's even worse than that. Okay?
No.
So I pull up the driveway, and there's neighbors, the people who called, were standing across the street all out in the yard.
Okay.
So I'm like, here's a choice I make. Do I get out of this car and expose myself like this? Because who knows what they would think? And so I did what probably every good trooper would do, and I get on the PA system, and I tell them, come out of this house right now and come to my window.
Oh.
And I did it 2 times. Both the husband and wife come out of the house, and I told them to get to my window right now.
Oh.
And it was, I left it dark in the car. I had my clipboard over my...
Yeah.
And I told him he needs to get walking. I want to see him get walking. And if anybody, I told him if I have to get out of this car everybody's going to jail. And they honored that. The guy, he left, he humped it on foot, he left, and I got to leave with my dignity, really. So the whole moral of that story, and I tell my new cadets this, right? When they come out, I tell them this, always put you a spare uniform in the trunk of your car. Always. And to this day, Larry, I've learned the hard way, and I got an extra pair of slacks in my trunk of my car.
Oh my gosh. I don't know anyone that could beat that story. Folks, we are talking, just so you understand, this is all part of Live PD Nation, Live PD on A&E, a brand new episode tonight. Eastern Time, 9 p.m., then, of course, Central 8 and Mountain 7 and Pacific, y'all wait until the replay at 9. However, it's okay because we still get to see it, and that's cool. We are talking to a wonderful trooper from the great Commonwealth of Kentucky named Corey King. He's been with the Kentucky State Police for a long, long time, and this man has just told the best story ever. I mean, I'm serious. So there's one other moral on this story that I picked up out of it, Trooper King, and that is don't play poker with you because you can bluff. You can bluff, brother. You can bluff. Oh my gosh. Well,
it is, and I'll tell you, but even in the fun aside, we all have stories like that, and actually probably what I'm most known for in this post area, and it actually carried over to our Christmas parties for a while there. I would get a scarecrow for the ward, but we got a call from a coal company. We got coal mines here, and they have security folks that stay 24/7. And we got a call where one of the security guards noticed what appeared to be two guys wearing black clothes, going trespassing on their property at night. And the security guard said it sounded like they were singing, which is odd.
Okay.
And my only backup at the time was a constable. And so I go out there, and to make a long story short, I start driving outside of the coal company through a bunch of cornfields. There's a road in between two cornfields, and lo and behold, I see a glow in the middle of this cornfield. And again, I'm by myself. Constable, he wasn't around; he was hitting other areas.
Okay.
And so I get out of the car and start sneaking in down the road, so I get to where I think I can see them in the row of corn. And keep in mind, there's not really a house anywhere near this. And so I start going. I get my gun out. And as I start going through the row of corn, I can start seeing a silhouette. And I start hearing music.
Wow.
I start hearing music. So there's got to be this. And I remember distinctly, it was Rascal Flatts, Love Me Out Loud. Or Love You Out Loud or something like that. And so this is it. And they sound pretty dang good.
Really?
And so as I go through this cornfield, I have my gun out. And then I start ordering, get on the ground, doing all that kind of stuff. No response whatsoever. I see the silhouette, the black clothes silhouette, and finally I start saying some choice words I can't say on here, and I start going closer, and I'm drawing down, and finally I'm just to the point of yelling at this. And I go to kick. Now keep in mind we're in the middle of corn. Okay?
Sure.
This corn's growing up taller than I am. And
sure.
Big. So I go to kick the person down, and it was a scarecrow.
No.
It was a scarecrow.
No way.
I'm no joking. It was a scarecrow. I couldn't tell you how long of an extension cord this had to have. Because there was not a house around. It was, but it was quite a sizable way. As I was having this verbal altercation with the scarecrow, the constable had done come up on me. He was behind me. And, buddy, it went all over the whole state police at that point. And every Christmas, I always got a scarecrow off the award.
Thank you.
So I got this scarecrow that I assaulted, said some things to the scarecrow and drew down in any which way. I never told that farmer. I actually left, just completely left. And to this day, he had no idea I assaulted his scarecrow.
His scarecrow. Well, that scarecrow, it's going to teach that scarecrow to go ahead and obey the commands from the law enforcement personnel. That's just, the scarecrow's got to learn, man. Right? Huh?
Well, absolutely. But we all have those embarrassing, and no matter what color our uniform is, we all have those funny, embarrassing type stories. But that's right there is what makes this job somewhat funny, rewarding, and I tell you, it almost keeps your sanity sometimes. You got to laugh at stuff like that. There are very stressful moments, and especially when I was a collision reconstructionist for years, you had to do something to really decompress. You had to do things that kind of move past that. I can tell you this is a very mentally challenging job. It just is. It's not physically, so much physically demanding. It's mentally challenging. And, we all have to suppress things. And I can tell you, as a reconstructionist dealing with death a lot, that's just it. We had to suppress so much of this or you'll never get through it. Whether you're a firefighter, police, medic, you see so much things so much trauma on a daily basis. You really have to do just that. And Larry, there was one time that I can recall those 18 years that I actually sobbed. And I'll tell you this story. Years ago, it was probably about 2005, somewhere around 2005, 2006. It's a Friday night. I got a call of a guy who committed suicide. And I went to the house, and lo and behold, the husband and wife were fighting. And he had got a pistol out, and he shot himself. So I was there. He confirmed, yes, he had done that. Well, during the investigation, we found out that they both had two young kids. They're around 6 and 7. They're really close in age. There's a boy and a girl. And this was in December, right before Christmas. And the kids, fortunately, were playing down the road at some friend's house. And so they didn't know what was going on. And so as other family poured into this household, they opted to decide to allow the kids. They weren't going to tell them that night. They were going to keep them at the friend's house and let them spend the night there. Okay. Well, that next morning, on a Saturday morning, we have something called Shop with the Cop. I don't know if do you guys do that in your area?
Yeah, we have a form of that. Yeah, it's called in our end here, Sunshine Division.
For don't know what that is.
Okay.
Basically, Larry, that's where law enforcement, we get kids who may be coming from broken homes or disadvantaged type kids, and we take them shopping with law enforcement. It brokers a great relationship amongst the two.
Okay.
And so I thought, what a great idea. That next day we're hosting it at Walmart, a county next to us, and so we had the money for them. We said, listen, I asked the family, I said, can I get these kids tomorrow, pick them up, and take them for Shop with a Cop before you break them the news to them?
Bless your heart, man.
And they said, yes. They said, that'd be great. It's going to be a terrible day anyway. So,
bless your heart.
That'd be great.
Bless your heart,
so
brother.
That next morning, that next morning, I pick the kids up at the friend's house. And again, they're completely unaware that their dad committed suicide. And I took them to Walmart, and I'm telling you, we walked around Walmart for, it seemed like an hour and 15 minutes looking for things. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't really decide. And keep in mind, these are young, 6 or 7 year old, both within about a year of each other. And the sweetest kids you have ever met. I mean, beforehand, they were giving me hugs. It just phenomenal kids. They were really polite. So we walked around, and they stopped, and they were looking at some things that, to me, I wouldn't think was around their age. It just didn't make sense to me. And they started whispering to each other, and I was standing behind them, and they turned around and looked, and they said, hey, can we pool our money together and buy one larger gift? I said, well, sure, that's not a problem at all. And so they smiled and giggled, and they looked me in the eye, and they said, this is something that our dad really wanted. And they wanted to buy their dad that item.
Oh, my gosh. What, can I...
And it was terrible. It was all I could do to hold back.
Wow.
Because...
And I
was getting ready to drop them off and then to break the news that their dad committed
suicide. Folks, this is the side you don't often see because it's protected from you on television, because things like this are really hard. And Trooper King, I want to applaud you. I want to applaud you from Live PD Nation. From everyone within Live PD Nation, I would like to shake your hand. I would like to give you a hug. I'd like to do whatever I could to tell you thank you for what you did for those children, because it's very special. Let me tell you something
let you gather your thoughts here from this is a tough story you've just told. Help you gather your thoughts. Joe Kenda, I don't know if you ever heard of Lieutenant Joe Kenda out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. He was a homicide investigator for a long time. He has a book out, and he talks about his career being a homicide investigator and, reconstructionist. And he talks about the nightmares, and he talks about the things that he had to go through and all that. And he talks about one thing he said that has stuck with me to this day is he said, you have to have a sense of humor, because if you don't, this job will eat you alive, essentially. And
that's true.
Yep, your sense of humor, your brightness, your joy, your energy, it's the highest I've ever seen on this show. I mean, really, you've got an amazing gift, man. And to have that after 18 years is a gift and a blessing. And we just want to thank you for your bravery. Thank you for taking those children out. And thank you for being a true man, okay? A true man. A man that does something hard.
Yeah, that was extremely tough because I just knew what those kids were getting ready to learn about their dad, when in fact that's all they want to do is please him. So I've never really disliked somebody so much in that moment, just because those kids absolutely adored and loved their dad, and they actually wanted to buy him this item for Christmas, and that was just so tough. To this day, it is just the look on their little faces was terrible.
Wow. Well, I'm going to get you one more question. We had some other ones lined up, but you know what, in all honesty, my friend, I know there's probably people that would love to ask you. If you'd like to ask any questions of Trooper Corey King from the Kentucky State Police, he's live right now, and you're live right now, and I would be honored to have you join us. If you'd like to put up a little question there on the screen, you're more than welcome to. We'd love to ask him those questions, and I'll do my best to remember them. Okay, now remember, I have a short brain, so I promise I'll do the best I can for you, okay? But I'd like you all to just go ahead and ask him something. This is a true American hero from something from a show you don't see and stories you don't know, and that are just as important as those stories that we do know. So, Trooper King, what kind of community service work does your department really get behind? What do y'all really get into there in Kentucky?
We have several different things, but our most prideful thing is called Trooper Island. And so it is formed in the 60s, and it's truly an actual island. It's about 34 to 36 acre island in the middle of Del Hollow Lake. And I can tell you, it is a true slice of heaven. It is beautiful out there. If you've never been to any of the Kentucky State Parks, you need to take a trip. It is gorgeous there. So we have this actual island that the Tennessee and Kentucky line actually goes through this island, but we raise enough money to send about 700 to 800 disadvantaged kids, good kids that simply just can't afford a good summer camp. And it's a week-long summer camp where the tensions and turmoil of everyday life can be forgotten. And for that 1 week, that young person could see maybe a touch of hope and maybe understand that there is a better tomorrow. That is what Trooper Island, that's what we are truly known for, is that island, which is a nonprofit organization. So those folks that want to give to our nonprofit organization, that is the one to give to. Trooper Island is a 501c3. We raise enough money to send those kids all during the summer. In fact, ours is just coming upon us here within the end of the month. We'll be starting and rolling that around. So take a look at it. You can go to Kentucky State Police /Trooper Island to learn more about that. But also we have something called Cram the Cruiser. Larry, we raised the Cram the Cruiser. We're looking especially during the Thanksgiving and Christmas time. There's a lot of families that go hungry and may be too prideful to ask for things. That's what we do. We will put our cars at certain events and have the public just cram them full of non-perishable food items.
I love that.
We raised 210 tons of non-perishable items. That's the 420,000 pounds in a 3-week time frame.
Wow.
Phenomenal.
Wow, folks.
Yeah, our post we had almost 90,000 pounds in our post alone.
Wow, that's amazing. Hey, folks, again, if you would like to donate or help with Trooper Island in the state of Kentucky, go ahead. Trooper, if you would do me a favor, DM me, if you would, the link to that. I'll put it on my page so the folks at Live PD Nation know about it. we'll do our best to make sure the word
Absolutely.
gets out, okay? Because that's really important, guys. If you'd like to help,
Consider it done.
if you'd like to help send a kid to camp, folks, this is a big deal, and it would make a difference for some children. That's a cool thing. Please do that. And then also, for all y'all that live in the state of Kentucky, and now Trooper King, is this anywhere in Kentucky, the cram the car thing during the holidays? So if you live like in northern or south or eastern Kentucky, the state patrol does the same thing?
Yeah, we are a state police entity, and I can tell you we cover all the posts around the state.
Okay.
So those folks that want to participate in Cram the Cruiser or Trooper Island, you'll have a post close to you. And again, this website, as well as our app,
Okay.
we do have an app that you can download, and it can geotag you and put you to your closest location.
Perfect.
You can drop it off at post, or we pair up with Kroger, especially the Cram the Cruiser. We pair up with other entities like Kroger and have events holding there. We do put out news releases when this is going to occur.
Okay.
So those folks in our beautiful state, or even outside that's passing through, download our app, all free at all your Google as well as your Apple store, and you can find out more all through there, and we will actually get you to your closest location.
There you go. All right. Trooper King, thank you for that. We appreciate it. We are live with Trooper Corey King from the Kentucky State Patrol, the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Today's Kentucky Derby Day. Today is Cinco de Mayo Day. What better place to be than with Trooper King? I can't think of a better place. Folks, if you'd like to call and ask him any questions, if you'd like to speak with him, say hello, a greeting from Live PD Nation, that'd be pretty cool, right? You can give a hold of us right now. Be on the, I know he'd love to hear from you. The phone number is 123-4567. All right, that's 12345. I'm just joking, guys. You know me. Come on now. You know me by now. All right. If you don't know that by now, you know that I'm going to play with you a little bit, just because it's kind of fun. 503-420-4062. That is 503-420-4062. Please feel free and give us a call. You can talk to Trooper King. You can talk to him, ask him any questions you'd like to about policing in Kentucky, maybe about jobs there. You could certainly discuss things about, life in Kentucky. It's a beautiful state. If you've never been, it is absolutely amazing. So, again, 503-420-4062. Trooper King, tell us about the heroes growing up in your life. Who were your heroes growing up?
Well, I thought about that, and I've never really had what you would consider a hero, especially those that are any type of super figures or superheroes, anything like that. But I can tell you, I come from a very large family, and we're very, very close to my aunts and uncles, and even to this day, we have so many events involving them. And I can tell you, growing up, my uncles played such a vital role in who I am today. I am so thankful and blessed for them and family. And that means so much to me, is family. And my uncles were just phenomenal. They were the reason I got into a lot of different things that benefit me. They always believed in me, and as well as my brothers, and we're all very, what I would consider, successful and very blessed that I come from such a family like that.
That's fantastic. That's a great answer. It's oftentimes that people talk about their sports heroes or whatever, and it's neat that you bring your family up because, that's very much like my family was too. That would be, I had people I admired, but my heroes were my grandfather and my mom. So, and now my brother. So it's kind of cool, how that family dynamic weaves its way through your life. Let me ask you this. This is kind of interesting. If you could meet, now this is a question, you're part of the fraternity now, brother. Okay. So this is the question every law enforcement brother we've asked has got the same question. And it comes from Lieutenant Dan's crazy crew from Danny Brown in Richland County, South Carolina.
Yes.
Now,
absolutely. Good people.
Yep. So here's the question. If you could meet anyone at all, Trooper King, who would it be and why?
Well, obviously it'll be Jesus. And I know that we all will have our time when we can. Hopefully it's a long, long way from now. But if I had to meet an imperfect person, as we all are, I would want to go back in time to just understand a little bit more about White Earp. He's one of those that something about him. Yes, he did represent law enforcement, but he also had if you've done any history on him, he also had a rocky past.
Oh, yeah.
And he was questionable to some degree. But yet he still stood up for the right, the
Yep.
righteous. He
Yep.
is. And it makes you wonder, okay, even though he had a rocky past, and yeah, he was charged with certain type of crimes, he still was elected constable. He was an assistant town marshal, but he also worked as a police officer in Wichita and Dodge City. So it makes you wonder. I'd like to know a bit more about his psyche, more about him and why he stood up for the righteous. What was the driver for him as a peace officer?
I love it.
That'd be somebody I would like to meet.
I love it. I love it. You know, I had a chance. Everybody's got a bucket list, you know, in their life of things they'd like to accomplish, and on mine, very high, probably one of the tops, was I always wanted to buy a really special car, go a great distance, fly out, get it, drive it all the way home. Well, I had a chance to do that back in the summer of 16, and went to the great state of Indiana, bought the car in Merrillville, which is basically a South Chicago suburb, and then came west. And the only thing I wanted to see on the way back, and you're gonna love this answer, okay? There's actually two.
Okay.
I really kind of want to see arches in Arizona. In Utah on the way back. But the place I had to see, and the place I did go way off of Interstate 70 to go see, was Dodge City, because I am a huge Old West fan, and they have a great bunch of information there, from statues to different things. Have you ever been to Dodge City?
I have not. I would love to. That's
Okay.
where in the
Well, you gotta go.
1870s, I think it's when he was the marshal there, and that's when he really became noted as both a lawman and a gambler.
That's
during that
right.
time, too.
There is a picture of him. It's a great statue. I'll DM it to you. It's a great statue of him that they I don't know who the artist was. It's an amazing statue of a man. Now, and my memory's I'm trying to remember if this was Wyatt Earp, but I don't know for sure. But it's a statue of a man who's playing cards at a table, and there's 3 empty chairs, and he has a Colt in his hand, pointing out while the other hands are on the table and the chips are on the table and all that. It's an incredible statue, and it really represents what that Wild West was like,
I would say that probably is, because that's during that time where he befriended Doc
Holliday, yep.
and
Bat Masterson, yep.
During that time frame. So it's either going to be one of those 3.
Yep. I am a huge Bat Masterson fan and Doc Holliday fan and Jesse James fan. I love all that stuff because, this is when the frontier was Kansas. Indian Territory was was west of there. And I think it was, going back, it was a hard thing of what happened to the Indians. And I feel awful about that. I'm just saying in terms of the lawlessness from the cattle drives coming up from the Republic of of Texas, coming up into, from Texas to Kansas, and the lawlessness that were in places like Dodge City and Hays City and places like that. Folks, it was a really rough and tumble time, and a person that had a badge was not as respected as they are today. They were actually, they were ganged up on to be shot even in the back if they had to be. So I love that answer, man. I love, because I had a chance to do it, and truly, if you can, go see Dodge City. It probably about a 3-day trip. Spend 3 days, probably no more than that. But there's great history there. You'd love it. You really would. Hey, if you could,
I would. I really would.
My friend, we're talking to Trooper Corey King from the incredible Kentucky State Police and Patrol, I should say, and we are honored to have both the state of Kentucky joining us on this interview, as well as one of Kentucky's greatest. 18 years with the department. If you could say something, Trooper King, to the folks of Live PD Nation. Now, and I want you to understand something. The way this interview works, it's going now, and there's been between 13 and 25 that have been in, and they'll come in and they'll come out. That's kind of how it works.
Right.
But it will be replayed hundreds of times by people. It will be watched many, many times, okay? So please do me a favor, and would you tell Live PD Nation something you'd like to make sure that they understand, not only about you, but also about the Kentucky State Police?
When I joined into Twitter, that's when I was introduced into a lot of how large this Live PD Nation, the family, really is. And they actually call us all family. Mm-hmm. And I've really come to understand and know a lot of them just by simply seeing what they tweet and what they discuss. And, I tell you, I was sitting there thinking, if I had to tell them anything, there'd be three things I would say. It's thank you, and thank you. And thank you for being our biggest fans. Thank you for being our support when we are at our most vulnerable. Thank you for sharing and showing your support to us, to others. That they share so much of this and makes this is what we need in law enforcement. Listen, some people tease and say, yeah, we need heroes too. Sure, we do. Those heroes are these folks, the folks that are making us feel special. It's all of them that boost our morale and spirits when our morale and spirit has been lost. So I can't thank these folks enough. They are a difference maker, and they make a difference more than they may ever know. And I could tell them, I could end this by saying, God bless the folks, the men and women in blue, as well as all our supporters and everyone here. But I'm not. But rather, I'm going to ask God to keep blessing the men and women that stand up to evil every single day. And God bless the folks that back us up and support us. It means more to us than you may ever know.
Nothing more could be said, I think, that is endearing to people, that is kind to people, that is truly special. Trooper Corey King, what an amazing interview this has been. What a kind thing to say to people, because this is really a safe bastion for law enforcement. We do still think old school. We do still really think the world of all of you. We love you. We love you, man. We love you guys. I mean, that's what we do. Oh my gosh, we're honored to do it. I want to have this run a little in the background because it's appropriate for the end of this interview. Listen to this. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
No, in fact, I had a hard time hearing what you said there, Larry. There was something in the background.
Yep.
Sorry.
Keep listening to the song, okay?
Okay.
There you go. Hold on. That's it. I thought, what could be more appropriate to end this program than I just can't wait to be king. Trooper Corey King from the Kentucky State Police. Folks, it's what it's like outside Live PD Nation. We are very grateful. We are more than that. We're honored. We're honored to have him along for a busy day that he has, that he took time out to spend with us. And we are grateful that you have done that, sir. God bless you for that.
Larry, you've been nothing but great. You are a card. I tell you, you got a great personality. It's been a true honor and pleasure, and an hour went by very fast talking to you. So thanks for having me. It's been nothing but great. Your hospitality has been off the charts. So, and God bless Live PD Nation, all the folks out there.
Thank you. We'll do this again sometime. All right? That sound good?
I look forward to it.
I think that would be appropriate. I really do, brother. I really do. Live PD Nation, that is it. Trooper Corey King from the Kentucky State Patrol, and I just want to thank him and his department for allowing him to come. Next week, it will be Fred Zumbo from the Arizona Public Safety Department talking to you about keeping your car safe and everything in your life, keeping it cool. So you guys take care. Until then, we will catch up with all of you next week. Again, Trooper Corey King from the Kentucky State Police. Thank you so much for joining us. See all of you soon. God bless you guys. Take care.